Welcome back to the Pump and Dump channel for a quick update again on Antero Resources. In terms of trading, I decided to sell 100 shares on the open around 393. I have my screenshot. There we go. Sold at 393 on the open. The reason for selling is that the natural gas price was weak, even though it was around here 256.2. In terms of my valuation, my system for valuing the stock showed that it was still expensive. I saw that there was the technical target here, and I mentioned that previously in my video that it seemed that the stock is trading on technicals. Same happened the other day when I sold here at 393 on average probably, and then bought back for about the same or a little bit above. The value had dropped below and then came back up, and we see, however, that it's trading on technicals, and I don't like really trading on technicals with support and resistance lines and trend lines here and trend line there and moving averages. But I did look at the price, of course, of the natural gas in terms of how it's factoring into my model. Natural gas, I drew some lines here to try and get like a technical picture of some support and resistance lines. We see here this moving averages, these are converging, but um, when it comes to stocks, of course, I don't like using moving averages, trend lines, supports and resistance and so on, because what it comes down to is valuation with a stock. But when you're looking at commodity like natural gas or oil or gold, these indicators can be very helpful, because this is kind of what people are trading upon, because the price is set by the market and the market trades. It likes to trade this way, so that's kind of how the price comes about. So as we're looking here, CNX also had an open higher and then came back down, and now it's going back up just as Antero Resources is. We see the natural gas price here around the support line engulfed by this moving average, and this one's coming up faster support. What could we see? We could see these two here crossing over, or this could come close and then just shoot back up. I would of course hope it would shoot up rather than shoot down, because even if I have lightened up now and it runs up, I still have a long position. I'm still overall in the green with my natural gas positions. So whether it runs up now or goes down, I'm prepared. I raised some cash to be prepared for a pullback. I see that in the cards. There is still some weeks to go before the winter comes and kicks in and drives natural gas demand up a bit more than it is at the current point. But I also am more worried about fundamentals. The earnings reports in the third quarter, they usually, well, let's say I've had bad experiences with them. So I try to kind of lighten up going into them. Going into the second quarter, I feel less worried when something's been going down. But going into the third quarter, I'm not so optimistic. So we're going to see how it goes from now. I'm hoping that it goes down and I buy back in, and I have the courage to buy back in. But if it doesn't go down, that's okay. Main concerns are on the fundamental side. I was reading through their reports, and there were some mentions of legal cases where some of their clients were not paying them, or they were disputing over different prices used in the contracts. And apart from that, I mean, it's not factored into the balance sheet. It's like a potential upside. There was some citation about violating some environmental standards, and that could lead to some penalty. Who knows how much? But the main thing that really concerns me at this point in time is the fact that the natural gas price this year has been quite low compared to last year. And Antero Resources, CNX Resources, and all the natural gas producers, when they're putting a valuation on their assets, including their gas wells, their oil fields, whatever it is, they use a PV10, and those PV10s with the lower natural gas prices are going to shrink going into year end. And I'm really worried how the balance sheets are going to look. These companies could look bankrupt, and without a higher natural gas price going forward. It looks, looks like we're in dire straits in the natural gas industry, and that is kind of why I'm just trading these securities rather than investing long term into them, because I see this risk of a meltdown in the sector. Even though demand is rising, of course production is rising too, and that's putting pressure on prices. The companies are destroying themselves. But when it comes to providing value to the client, natural gas is a really good option compared to coal, solar, nuclear power, and so on, because it's it's quite cheap to produce. And going forward, I've looked at companies' financials, of course, and a lot of them, they are selling. This year they've sold forward, and next year they sold forward, and also going further ahead. And CNX Resources is one of these, and this is the reason why I like this one more as a defensive play than Antero Resources. They have sold forward for the next year at lower prices, and the year after also at lower prices. So there is already some downside baked into the cake there. If the prices drop, they will be less impacted than Antero Resources, but they're not fully hedged for the whole year. They also have, like, I don't know, like a quarter or so of their production that is going on spot price. So when the spot price is high, they will make more money on that part, and that will give this company a more stable flow going forward. Whereas Antero Resources, I think they're fully hedged this year and next year, so there are no upsides in terms of pricing. But the present value, of course, of their field is given by the price that we have right now, which is 254, because no one knows the future and what the prices will be in the future. So you can't say, well, natural gas prices will recover, so this stock will be okay. We kind of have to go by the now rather than speculating on the future. Yeah, that's all I got to say. I mean, lightening up, hoping that I can avoid a lot of downside risk in case this goes against me. I expected the natural gas price to keep running, but it didn't do that, so I have to adapt. And I don't like trading these technical, levels, hoping that it's, like a swing trader, hoping it goes to the next level and doesn't break through the support, and putting stop losses and wasting a lot of money just protecting the downside. I don't like this. I prefer to wait until the natural gas price and the value of the stock are more in line with a reason for me to invest. And I'm going to leave it with that. So remember to leave a comment on these videos. No one likes to comment, but everyone's welcome to say whether they think I'm right or wrong. And subscribe if you want to be notified in the future, and have a good day.